Most people think getting a work permit in Australia is just about having a skill, a degree, a job offer, maybe some experience. Simple, right? But here's the truth nobody tells you. In 2026, Australia's work visa system is no longer just about skills. It's about timing, demand, and strategy. And if you understand how it really works, you can position yourself ahead of thousands of applicants who are still guessing. Let me tell you a story. Jason, a 32-year-old from Chicago, always dreamed of working in Australia. He was a civil engineer. Experienced. Qualified. Motivated. But every time he applied, he hit the same wall. No sponsorship available. No priority occupation match. No response. Rejection after rejection. And slowly, his dreams started fading. Until one night, something changed. He discovered a shift in Australia's skilled migration system. New occupation lists. Updated visa rules, and rising demand in specific industries. And that's when everything clicked. He wasn't failing because he wasn't good enough. He was applying the wrong way. 6 months later, Jason was in Sydney, working on infrastructure projects, building a career he once thought was impossible. So what changed? That's exactly what we're going to break down today. Because this isn't just a visa guide. This is a strategy guide for understanding Australia's work permit system in 2026. But here's the problem. Most people still think Australia is only looking for doctors and engineers. That used to be true. But now, things have shifted. Let's start from the beginning. What is a work permit in Australia? In simple terms, it is a visa that allows foreign workers to live and work legally in Australia. But here's where it gets interesting. Australia doesn't use just one visa. It uses multiple pathways depending on skill level, occupation demand, and employer sponsorship. And that changes everything. Because your success depends on choosing the right pathway. Now, let's talk about the biggest update for 2026. Australia is facing labor shortages in key sectors. Healthcare, construction, technology, education, and renewable energy. And here's the surprising truth. If your skills match these sectors, your chances of approval increase significantly. But here's the catch. It's not just about having skills. It's about whether your skills are in demand right now. Jason learned this the hard way. He applied as a general civil engineer. But his specialization didn't match Australia's priority list at first. So he adjusted. He focused on infrastructure and transport projects. And that small shift changed everything. Now let's break down the main visa pathways. First, the temporary skill shortage visa d'etat. This is one of the most common routes. It allows Australian employers to sponsor foreign workers when they cannot find local talent. But here's the problem. You need a job offer first. No job offer, no visa. Simple. Second, the skilled independent visa d'etat. This one is powerful. Because it does not require employer sponsorship. But here's the catch. It is points-based. Age d'etat, education, experience, English proficiency, .cat. Every factor matters. And competition is intense. Third, the skilled employer-sponsored visa. This is where an Australian company sponsors you directly. And this is where many applicants succeed. Because companies actively seek talent they cannot find locally. Now let's talk about eligibility. Most people get this wrong, but here's why. They think having a degree is enough. It's not. You need to be on Australia's skilled occupation list. And this list changes regularly. Which means your strategy must adapt. Jason almost missed this. He was applying under outdated occupation categories. Once he updated his occupation code, everything changed. Now let's talk about the points system. This is one of the most important parts. AG gives points. Younger applicants often score higher. English proficiency gives points. Higher scores mean better chances. Work experience gives points. More relevant experience, UA, stronger profile. Education gives points. Advanced degrees increase eligibility. But here's the surprising truth. You don't need perfect scores. You need competitive scores. Now, let's talk about salary trends. Because this is where opportunity becomes clear. Australia's average skilled worker salaries range widely depending on industry. Healthcare professionals often earn between 70,000 to 120,000 AUD annually. Professionals can earn between 80,000 to 140,000 AUD. Construction and engineering roles vary widely but remain in high demand. And here's the key insight. Demand drives salary, not just qualifications. Now let's talk about regional visas. Because this is where many people miss opportunities. Australia encourages skilled workers to move to regional areas. Why? Because major cities are saturated. So regional visas often have lower requirements and faster processing. Jason considered this option, and it increased his chances significantly. Now let's talk about English requirements. Most visas require proof of English proficiency, IELTS or equivalent tests. And here's where it gets important. Higher scores don't just meet requirements. They increase your points and improve your ranking. Now let's talk about processing time. It varies. Some visas take months. Others take longer. But here's the truth. Incomplete applications cause most delays, not system backlogs. So attention to detail matters. Now, let's talk about lifestyle. Because this is where expectations meet reality. Australia offers a high quality of life, strong economy, good healthcare, multicultural environment. But here's the challenge. Cost of living is high in major cities like Sydney and Melbourne. Rent, transport, daily expenses. They add up quickly. So financial planning is critical. Now let's talk about skilled worker trends in 2026. This is where things get exciting. Australia is focusing heavily on healthcare expansion, infrastructure development, green energy projects. Why? Digital transformation. And here's the surprising truth. These trends are shaping immigration policy, which means visa approvals are increasingly aligned with economic needs. Now, let's return to Jason. Because his journey didn't end with getting a visa. The first few months were tough. New country, new workplace, new expectations. But he adapted. He improved communication, built professional networks, and learned how the system works. And that made all the difference. Now let's talk about common mistakes. Because this is where most applicants fail. Applying without checking occupation lists. Ignoring points optimization. Submitting weak English scores. Not preparing documents properly. And applying randomly without strategy. Each mistake reduces your chances. Now let's zoom out. Because this is not just about visas. It is about positioning yourself in a global labor market. Australia is not looking for everyone. It is looking for the right skills at the right time. And that's the key insight. Success is not about applying more. It is about applying smarter. Jason succeeded because he adjusted his strategy. He aligned his skills. He targeted the right visa. And he stayed consistent. And now the question is, what will you do? Because most people will watch this, feel motivated, and continue applying blindly. But a small percentage will act differently. They will research occupation lists, improve their English scores, target high-demand sectors, and build a real migration strategy. So here is your next step. Start with research. Identify your occupation category. Check demand trends. And plan your pathway carefully. Because every informed decision increases your chances. And if this guide helped you understand Australia's work permit system in 2026, make sure you subscribe. Because we are breaking down global immigration trends, skilled visa updates, and real job opportunities that most people never hear about. Your future is not defined by where you are today. It is defined by how you position yourself tomorrow. And now, you know exactly where to start.